Now, so far we've been talking about zip code based searches, and we've been using that 60002 example where somebody searches and the point of the search, that is the geographical lat long of the search, falls within the boundary of the territory that was defined for that particular location. Now, in this example, we're going to change up the search form a little bit, and we're going to bring in a drop-down list, and that will be a drop-down list of states. You'll see this pretty commonly when you have state-based searches. So I'm going to pull in the search form, I'm going to click Add Field, and I'm going to add the state field. And that as indicated by the word state. Notice I did not bring in the territory state field, which would be very different. Since this doesn't apply, I'm going to remove the category option from this particular search just so we have some clear visibility here. I'm going to add a label to the state, and that's going to go ahead and label that as state. So by default, when I choose this dropdown, that's going to include the states that are present in my data. So this is quite simply the unique list of values in this column. And so very straightforward, right? It's just those state values in that column. However, you'll notice that Wisconsin is missing from that list. So if we go over here, notice it doesn't say WI anywhere. And so if a user was picking from this drop-down list, it would not include that value that is in the territory state column. And so a way of addressing this is under territory settings, you'll see one of these options that says include territories in dropdowns. And when this is set to yes, what the system will do is it will include in the state dropdown all the values that it pulls in from the various territory types. So I'm going to go ahead and click save, and we can see the difference based on that change. Now I should see the state WI listed in the state dropdown, which is what I see now. And so that's the effect of that option to include territories in the dropdowns. Now, let's say, for example, I wanted to limit users to only territory-based searches. And in that case, I would only want to show Illinois and Wisconsin in the territory dropdown. And that's what this next option is for, is to include only territory values in dropdowns. So let's enable that and set that to yes. Now when I reload the interface, you can see that it's only displaying Illinois and Wisconsin. That will ensure that nobody is searching for the state of Missouri, because there won't be any Missouri results if you are only permitting that user to display only territory-based results. And that's why those might be used in combination, where you have only territory results in search, and therefore you want to limit the values in the dropdowns to only those defined in your various territories. The other places that those are going to be important, other places that you might see those more commonly are in the territory country dropdown, or I should say the country dropdown. So the country dropdown is typically, again, defined by only the values shown in the country column. But if you had a territory country field, which we'll get into later, and you wanted to limit the values in that country dropdown to just those values that were defined by the territories, the same settings would apply. And so we'll show a few more examples of that when we get into the section that combines different territory types. But hopefully this has been a good summary on how to include only values in the dropdowns, and then and then also to include those territory values in the dropdowns.